Jeff, you guys announced a 10-member class so far. Just how would you say the day went for you guys, just in a general sense?
Oh, the tough part for you guys, and it's always hard for us as well, is there are guys that we've offered that we didn't take, and there are guys that we offered that we didn't get, right? So that's just recruiting, and I'd say we had um, pretty much what we got that we were expecting, and there were a couple, like always, that you didn't quite get that you were expecting. So we've always gone very patient here. We've never had the philosophy we're trying to impress y'all with a bunch of signees and just to get a bunch of numbers. If they don't fit a certain criteria of us, um, then we're going to just be patient and wait and take the normal criticism for how slow we go and rather y'all evaluate our entire class and not. I don't know if you call this the first quarter anymore. This might even be like the first drive of the game. This is such a crazy time in college football.
Yeah, Jeff, the calendar's a little different this year. I think this is the earliest signing day has ever been. How I guess different is it?
Um, well, you just got this, and then the transfer portal's fixing to open up, and then you can bring in those kids, and then there's the February signing day, and then the transfer portal's going to open again, and we're going to do all this again, and pretty much they could get in the portal whenever they want to. I mean, like y'all know who all's in the portal right now, and the portal doesn't even open until December the 9th, so it's just a crazy time. When we open up against A&M, the guys that are on that plane, that'll be your roster. We'll know that for sure then.
Greg.
Jeff, you guys are obviously losing a ton of players who were major contributors this year, and you mentioned the need to be patient, but was there any kind of pressure to maybe move a little bit faster this cycle, or how did you put that part into perspective?
Well, you just got to use your common sense a little bit to me. You're losing a lot of veteran guys. How good do you feel about your veteran guys, replacing those guys? And because if you took the right high school kids and they developed, you can stay patient. And if you've taken the wrong high school guys that you developed, or maybe bounce backs, maybe guys we didn't get the first time, but we got them the second time. How many of those guys are ready to step up? And because of the injuries this year, we had to play a lot of younger kids we weren't expecting to play. So our roster is in good shape. There's a couple of areas of need that we got to address that we'll look for the portal to fix more of. We've just pretty much gone by the philosophy, if the kid can't come in and play for us quickly, we're not going to take him. And that's a high school kid as well, because there's just too much available talent out there. And because of our success we've had, and we're disappointed with our season, but we have a wonderful city that it recruits itself nationally now. If you'll look at where our kids come from now, we are still heavily Texas, but we got a lot of kids that know about Wemby, and they know about the city of San Antonio, and they know about the Alamo Dome, and they know about our success. So we're able to get into other parts of the country that we haven't been able to get into as much before.
Greg, did you have a follow-up? We'll go to JJ.
Jeff, how many of these of the early signings so far do you expect to have a immediate impact?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, 7 of them are high school kids, so that's a hard one to guess on. The deep snapper, like, does he come in here and win the job? Does a punter come in here and win a job? I think you'll see more. The corner, we're losing some good corners. So that's always hard to say, JJ. I'm just not a big, I know I'm the most boring human in the world in all my interviews. I'm just not a big when the recruiting. Every coach says the same thing. Let's see what they do. We love these kids. We do. I can go through every one of them. We recruited our tails off to get them here, but immediate impact, who knows? We'll see in January. And we've still got a few kids that have signed with us that want to stay silent because they want to have a big signing day in February. So that's always tough on y'all because y'all don't know the class yet. And out of respect to those parents and their high school coaches and the player, we want to honor that and not share guys we've got, that'll come out in February.
Okay, Greg, I see you're back.
Yeah, sorry if this was already asked while I was having some tech issues, but Jeff, do you know going forward, do you think you'll see a lot of JUCO and transfer portal guys in the next couple months, or do you think we should expect more high school guys come February?
There's a like I said, I guess it was when you're frozen. Kyle has this button now that he rigged it out somehow, Greg, that anytime you start to ask me questions that I think are slightly uncomfortable, I can freeze you now. It's kind of like if you used to watch that show Bewitched, how she could wiggle her nose. Kyle worked out this thing, Greg. So if you'll behave, I'll just let you keep entertaining us today. But if you get out of order, I'm gonna freeze you again, Greg. Yeah, that's a great point. I think you can expect that. You know our roster as well as we do, and JJ does as well as we do. So y'all know where those positions will probably be coming. And obviously we've got to address the linebacker position because when you lose 3 great senior linebackers, that's something. When you're losing Elliott and Ken at safety, that's something. You're losing Zay Frazier, you're losing Stitch Dumas at corner, that's something. And Brandon Brown, Cyrus Simon, Christian Clayton, Joe Evans, that's something, right? So I think you could expect in those positions to see some older guys coming in here. But there's still some high school kids that, like I mentioned to you, that will sign in February that will also ease some of that.
What was your reaction to word yesterday of Ronald Triplett entering the transfer portal, and how does that impact you guys?
Yeah, we were really high on Ronald Triplett. We lost him to K-State early in our career, and then we got him back. And he just thinks it's what's best for him and his family to explore other options. We're very grateful for Tripp and what he did for our program, and wish him the best of luck.
Do you get the sense that some other guys on the roster are still mulling that option, or do you think the rest of the group is pretty solid going forward?
There are these pretend agents in every one of their ears that are promising them tremendous money and charging them 10% and charging them 20% and charging them 15% up front. And I just advise these kids to be very careful and try to give them the same advice I'd give my own children. And so, yeah, that's the right of every player nowadays. They can leave any day they want to. And they know I'm never going to lie to them. I'm going to coach them as hard as I can, love them harder. And but whatever they decide, I'm going to hug their neck, and we'll either agree to disagree or we'll agree to agree, whatever that looks like. And so that's what that looks like. So, yeah, it's the new way, Greg. They all have the right to leave anytime they'd like to.
JJ?
See, Greg, he misbehaved, and I just muted him. He wasn't quite as bad as you were.
Jeff, to follow up on that, when do you think you'll know or have a good idea of, what your number will be to hit kind of February? And then, like, how many spots do you think you want to save for the spring transfer window?
Yeah, those are always ongoing discussions. We've got some wonderful kids here that want an opportunity to play, that have helped us. Never got to start, always been backups. And they want to get in the portal, and they want to go play, and I'm going to help them. They helped us, and I'm going to help them. So I think our number will be a little bit higher than usual. We're usually around 25, 26. I can see us being in the 30s this year just because of the large senior class, plus some really good players that came here and haven't gotten the playing time they really wanted to get. So we'll see what's in the portal this first time around. We'll stay patient. We will not take a player on our roster that's not going to help us. We're just not going to do it. So we'll stay patient. In the end, if we don't use all of our scholarships up, we'll reward our walk-ons. But we've never had that happen. You'd be shocked at how many kids this year that were walk-ons that are going to be put on scholarship this year. That's always my first and most important decision, is to recruit my own roster. I want to make sure I keep this roster. I know these kids. I've been to battle with them many times, and I want to try to keep this roster. And obviously we're focused on recruiting, but our number one priority are our current players.
Greg.
Jeff, how is the shifting landscape of college sports with NIL and now the onset of revenue sharing changing the way you approach the cycle and the way your conversation with recruits played out this time around?
Well, the hard part is the transition now. My current players know I will not lie to them, and whatever our collectives can give them from January to June, it'll be that number. And when July comes, my administration has been very positive in their effort to help us with revenue sharing. I'm working off of a number that I've targeted that we need and hoping we get. So that's where the rubber meets the metal, whatever that expression is. Because these kids that don't know me, that we're recruiting, how are you articulating that, and how are those kids know you're going to honor your word? And that's the tricky part right now. To me, it'll be better in July, where the collectives are a bonus and not the only means. But right now, the collectives are our only means. So what Bob and Peggy have done with 2-0 City Fans, and what Martin and April and Pat have done with 21inspired.org, that's the only thing we really have for sure to offer our current players and our current roster until revenue sharing begins in July. So it's tricky. I know it's a long answer to a simple question, but it's tricky, Greg.
Can you share with us what that number is that you're targeting that you think you guys might be able to get to for revenue sharing?
I'd just rather not do that to my administration. That to me would be bad ball. I'm just hoping we get the number I asked for, because that's the number I'm promising these players. And I've been assured very confidently that we're going to be able to hit that number.
Is there anything else for Coach Traylor this afternoon? All right, thanks everyone.
Appreciate y'all. God bless. Birds up.